The studio lights at Times Square glittered against the glass as the cameras panned across the crowd gathered outside. It was a brisk New York morning, the kind where the city hummed with impatience and excitement, and inside the Good Morning America studio, producers darted around like bees in a hive, headsets pressed tight, voices clipped, movements hurried. Today's guest was Meghan Markle, an interview that had been hyped for weeks. Robin Roberts, calm as ever with her signature grace, reviewed her notes. She had questions ranging from Meghan's new projects to the ongoing rift with the royal family. Robin was not one to pull punches, but she also wasn't in the business of theatrics. Still, she knew the nation expected more than polite chatter. The stage manager raised his fingers. 3, 2, 1, live. Welcome back to Good Morning America, Robin said with that warm authority in her voice. Joining us this morning is Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Meghan, it's good to have you here. Meghan smiled, her posture poised, though her eyes flickered with a hint of guardedness. Thank you, Robin. It's wonderful to be here. The first few minutes went smoothly. Meghan spoke about her latest humanitarian initiative, her new media ventures, and her passion for giving women a voice. The audience clapped politely, producers nodded, and the cameras rolled on. But Robin, turning a page in her notes, shifted gears. Meghan, you've spoken often about feeling unheard within the royal family. Yet there are critics, both in Britain and here, who say that you've used platforms like this to control the narrative rather than open yourself up fully. How do you respond to people who think you're more focused on image than authenticity? The question landed like a stone dropped in still water. Meghan's smile stiffened. She blinked once, twice, her jaw tightening ever so slightly. I think that's unfair, Meghan said, her voice calm but clipped. When you've been misrepresented for years, you have to protect your story. That isn't controlling the narrative, it's survival. Robin nodded gently but pressed on. Some would argue that survival doesn't look like Netflix deals, book tours, or high-profile interviews. They wonder if the mission is really service, or visibility. The studio went quieter. The audience shifted in their seats. Meghan inhaled slowly, her polished exterior beginning to crack. That's reductive, she said sharply. Women are always accused of being opportunistic when they succeed on their own terms. I shouldn't have to apologize for building a career independent of an institution that, frankly, did not protect me. Robin didn't flinch. Her voice stayed even. And yet, Meghan, there are staff members from your time at the palace who've spoken about feeling bullied. Some of your former colleagues said working for you was difficult, even toxic. Do you deny that outright? Meghan leaned forward, her tone now edged with steel. Yes, I deny it. Absolutely. Those claims were weaponized against me. It's disappointing that Good Morning America, of all places, would give oxygen to them. I came here to talk about solutions, not recycled tabloid gossip. The audience let out a collective murmur. Robin kept her composure, but her eyes narrowed slightly. With respect, Meghan, these aren't just tabloid claims. They were part of an official investigation. And viewers deserve clarity. If you're asking for the public's trust, doesn't that also mean answering uncomfortable questions? Meghan's hand gripped the edge of her chair. Her voice rose, sharper now, no longer filtered for charm. Clarity. Or is this just about ratings? Because it feels like I'm being ambushed on live television instead of having a fair conversation. The control room buzzed with panic. Producers exchanged frantic glances, trying to decide whether to cut to commercial. The studio audience watched in rapt silence, sensing history being made. Robin spoke again, measured but unyielding. Meghan, my job is to ask the questions people want answered. You came here knowing this would be more than a promotional chat. If you'd like to walk away, that's your choice. Meghan's eyes flashed. She stood abruptly, her microphone crackling as it tugged against her dress. Maybe I should. The audience gasped. Robin remained seated, her posture dignified, refusing to match Meghan's theatrics. That is, of course, up to you, she said evenly. Meghan glanced toward the producers, then at the cameras, realizing millions were watching. For a moment, she seemed torn between storming out and salvaging the moment. But her pride tipped the balance. She pulled off the mic pack, handed it to a stunned stagehand, and said loudly enough for the studio to hear, I won't be disrespected like this. Gasps and whispers rippled through the crowd as Meghan strode off the set, her heels clicking like gunfire across the floor. A cameraman instinctively followed her until producers frantically cut to a wide shot of Robin, who sat composed, hands folded in front of her. "Ladies and gentlemen," Robin said, her voice steady though the air felt charged, "we'll take a short break." The screen faded to commercial, but inside the studio, chaos erupted. Meghan's team huddled with producers, voices raised in frantic argument. Security discreetly guided her toward a side exit. Staff whispered about how unprecedented it was, a royal walking off live television. Meanwhile, Robin remained in her chair, flipping calmly through her notes as if nothing extraordinary had just happened. She knew the headlines would be brutal, the clip replayed endlessly online. Meghan Markle walks out of Good Morning America after clash with Robin Roberts. It would dominate news cycles for days. When the broadcast returned, Robin addressed the audience with quiet dignity. "We had hoped to continue our conversation with Meghan, but as you saw, she chose to end the interview early. Here at Good Morning America, we believe in asking the questions that matter. And we will continue to do so." The studio audience erupted in applause. It wasn't thunderous, but it was steady, respectful, an affirmation of the journalist's poise under fire. Outside on Times Square, people craned to see the monitors, buzzing with speculation. Social media exploded with hashtags. Hashtag Meghan walks out, hashtag Robin Roberts, hashtag GMA clash. Some defended Meghan, arguing she was unfairly cornered. Others praised Robin for journalistic integrity. By noon, clips of the incident had gone viral worldwide. Talk shows, podcasts, and online commentators dissected every expression, every pause, every word. The Palace in London reportedly took note. Hollywood publicists whispered about reputational fallout. And Meghan herself. She left the studio with her head high, though her hands trembled slightly as she slid into the black SUV waiting outside. She stared out the tinted window, jaw tight, wondering if she had taken control of the narrative, or lost it entirely. Inside the studio, Robin continued hosting as if nothing had happened, her composure unbroken. But when the cameras cut, she allowed herself the smallest sigh. She knew she had just witnessed one of the most explosive interviews in morning television history. And so the morning ended not with polite applause, but with a rupture that would be replayed, analyzed, and debated for years to come. Two women, two worlds, colliding under the hottest lights in America.